On January 30th, 1998, I was born into a small family of 3 people that included my mom, dad, and my older brother. I was a very shy kid when I was growing up. I was very close to my family, especially my dad, since he was my role model when I was a young boy. My dad was a worker at the case factory and in the National Guard, and my mother did daycare out of our home. They did their best to support us as we were growing up. On September 23rd, 1999, my little sister was born. We were a perfect little family. A couple months later, all of that was about to change. On January 6th, 2000, my dad's unit was called to active duty in Kosovo for a peacekeeping mission with NATO. I was 2 years old and my sister was 3 months old when he left us. It was very sad for our new and young family. His duty for the army in Kosovo was to be a construction supervisor for an engineering company. He returned home on August 27, 2000 after an 8-month-long mission. Our lives would be back to normal again as he would return home and we could all be one family. We would spend much of our time at the lakes and he would teach me how to play and develop a love for sports. It was great to have him back home again. But that wouldn't last much longer. On January 24, 2003, my dad was called to active duty in Iraq to help remove Saddam Hussein and help the Iraqi people patch things up and get back on to daily living. He had helped them build U.S. camps, specializing with carpentry, electrical, and plumbing. As you can imagine, it was tough for both of us, my dad and myself. Growing up without a parent, especially your dad, is very hard for a young boy, and growing up as a father with 3 kids and a wife and family left at home is equally as hard. 15 months, roughly 450 days, 11,000 hours, 650,000 minutes, 4 million seconds, 8,000 miles away in a war zone. I can remember making calendars with my sister, marking all 450 days until he would come home. It was really sad, especially for him, having to deal with it and not being able to do anything about it. On April 16, 2004, my dad returned home and was discharged from the Iraq War. I still remember waiting in the airport for my father to return home off his flight. Our entire family was waiting. I don't think we could have been any more excited, and it's probably one of my fondest memories ever, still to this day. During the time that my dad had served in Kosovo and Iraq, equaling about 2 years, I had grown very close to my grandfather. He was a very family-oriented man. He loved big gatherings with friends and family. I had loved him so much. In February 2005, our family had faced another struggle. He was diagnosed with esophageal cancer. I was about 7 years old at the time. He loved going to the lakes and spending time with us. Even though he was battling cancer, he continued to build his dream home down at the lakes where we still go to this day. It didn't matter how sick he felt or how tired he was, he would always make time for us. On February 4th, 2008, he passed away at the age of 67. He had battled cancer for 3 rough years, and he never complained once. He was a tough son of a gun. A couple years before that happened, my dad had gotten a job opportunity at Camp Grafton in Devil's Lake to be a full-time instructor at Camp Grafton. He sacrificed seeing his family every day to move up to Devil's Lake to better support us financially and with better benefits. Unfortunately, after 9 years of him working there, we typically only get to see him 1 weekend out of every other week. He does his best to call us every day to see what's going on and how we are doing. He has always been super good about coming to our events, whether it being drama for my sister, football, baseball, band concerts, anything that you can think of. My dad would always come home, drive 200 miles home, and be there for us. even if that means that he has to go home the same night. I couldn't ask for a more supportive father. These stories lead me up to my 6-word memoir, Destruction Brings Creation, Never Back Down, and also my epiphany, when faced with life's toughest challenges, never back down. Whether it be being not able to see your family very often like my father, or fighting cancer or struggle for multiple years like my grandfather, it shows that these two men are perfect examples, which has taught me today to never give up in anything that I do, no matter how bad it gets.